It was one of the most hyped up games of the year, and Mater Dei coming away proving why it is the best team in the country. The Monarchs improving to 4-0 after outscoring St. John Bosco 29-0 in the second half, ultimately winning that game 42-21. Quarterback Elijah Brown improving his record to 10-0 as a starter. So taking a look at the latest rankings from our good friends over at MaxPreps, Mater Dei firmly holding on to that #1 spot. IMG Academy still #2. Now St. John Bosco was #3, but they dropped to #5 after losing to Mater Dei on Friday. Taking a look at 6 through 15, 6 through 9 is all the same, but then things change starting at 10. Katy, Chandler, South Lake Carroll, Corner Canyon, Jesuit, and Centennial all moving up one spot. Part of the reason is St. Xavier moving completely out of the top 25. They were #10. So when you look at 16 through 25, that makes room now for St. John's, unranked last week, now coming in at #25. Let's welcome in our friends and experts at MaxPreps, Steve Montoya and Zack Poff. Steve, I want to give you credit, first of all, because you said Mater Dei versus St. John Bosco was going to be a little bit more of a blowout than people expected, so congratulations to you. But Zack, let's talk about this game. I mean, how much does this go to show just how much better than almost everybody Mater Dei is at this point?
You know, you just look at Mater Dei and Coach Rollo. You know, this guy has a very complete team. They're good everywhere, you know. But the one guy I got circled, a sophomore quarterback, Elijah Brown. And sorry, in that email I said he's 10-0. He's actually 9-0 as a starter. They only played 5 games last spring and 4 this year. But, you know, you just look at his numbers. He has 26 career touchdown passes to only 1 interception, which is crazy to think. You know, this is a guy who is still just getting better and better each week. I can't even imagine how good this dude's going to be when he enters his senior season. But, you know, you just check out the stats from last week. He was 13-18. He had 263 yards passing and 5 touchdowns against one of the best defenses in high school football. And, you know, the offensive line's great at Mater Dei. A bunch of big-time receivers to get the ball to, especially C.J. Williams, Notre Dame-bound dude, and, you know, Raleek Brown in the backfield. But, you know, the one guy that dominated for Mater Dei, in my eyes, on defense was Malachi Teo. You know, this is one of the most underrated linebackers in the class of 2022. And you team him up with, you know, soon-to-be 5-star David Bailey. Those two guys arguably are the best tandem at linebacker in high school football. And you look at St. John Bosco, you know, this is a team in the first half, they were leading the game 21-14 late in the first half. Mater Dei tied it. And then the second half, they kind of just made the right adjustments. And, you know, a couple of penalties here and there on St. John Bosco and a couple of sacks they gave up really kind of gave Mater Dei all the momentum. And the Monarchs were able to capitalize on those. And, you know, there's a chance we could see these two play again in the D1 championship game. We're going to hit on Servite here in a little bit. I think that's the one team that could, you know, not let this party happen again. They've played in the D1 championship every single year since 2016. So there's a chance we could see a rematch. And, you know, it's very rare that, you know, the team that wins the first one wins the second one. You got to go all the way back to 2017 when Mater Dei did that.
Guys, I was paying attention to Twitter over the weekend when these games were going on, and suddenly you start seeing Travis Hunter trending, which is not a great thing. Now, the good thing for Collins Hill, they're having a great season, 7-0 for the first time in school history, but they are losing Travis Hunter now, at least for a little bit. 5-star cornerback, 4 to 6 weeks with an ankle injury. Steve, how much is that going to impact this team?
Yeah, I mean, when you take away the #1 athlete in the country, as Zack says, the sauciest player in the country, that just doesn't sound right coming from me, but that's what Zack says. And, you know, you take him out of a lineup, it's going to be a big deal. But, you know, Collins Hill is still loaded. Sam Horn, the Missouri commit, the quarterback, he is the real deal. He became Gwinnett County all-time passing leader. He's thrown for over 7,900 yards and 78 touchdowns, and their defense has pitched 4 straight shutouts. So it's not like Collins Hill is just lost without Travis Hunter. Now, obviously, he's the #1 athlete in the country. It's a huge deal he's not there, but it'll be interesting to see if he comes back. I believe he will. You know, reading the Gwinnett Daily Post, the local paper there, they're saying the coach expects him to come back. He wants a state championship, and if they're going to get one, I think obviously Travis Hunter needs to be there, but don't count out Collins Hill without Travis Hunter. They're still loaded up and down.
Zach, you mentioned Servite, and I do want to talk about them down there in Southern California, keeping up with that elite Trinity League. They're 6-0 right now. So you mentioned this. They may be able to give schools like Mater Dei, St. John Bosco a run for their money. What chances do you give them against schools like that?
I mean, it's hard right now because, Mater Dei, I believe they're in a class of their own with IMG Academy. I believe those are the two best teams in high school football right now. But Servite is that one team outside of the top 5 rankings right now that has the chance to finish the year ranked at number 1. They've played some big-time programs from Southern California this year. They beat Mission Viejo 41-7. They beat Sierra Canyon handedly. And last week, Olu went into that game in their Trinity League opener, and they won 56-12. You look at Noah Fafita, this is the most underrated quarterback in the country. He's only a 3-star, but he's been putting up 5-star numbers his whole high school career. Last week, dude completed 19 of 21 passes, threw for over 400. They had 6 total tutties. And then you look at 2022 Oregon commit, Tetahora McMillan. This dude is one of the best playmakers in the country. He had over 200 yards receiving and 4 TDs, and also had a tremendous one-handed INT. And, they also got Keon Burnett, a big-time tight end. And then on defense, Jacob Manu finally got his first Power 5 offer over the weekend from Arizona. He's one of the best linebackers in the country. And then you got Mason Graham on the defensive line. This dude's got 9.5 sacks already this year. He flipped his commitment from Boise State to Michigan about a couple of weeks ago. So you just look at Servite, and they're playing complete football this year. They got a lot of senior leadership, and I think this could be the year that we don't see Mater Dei and St. John Bosco play in the CIF Southern Section Division I championship. And the reason why is what Servite's doing right now. I'm super impressed. And Amanda, they end the year against Mater Dei and then follow that up against St. John Bosco. So if they can win those 2 games and then run the table in the CF Southern Section Division I playoffs, there's a chance we could see them move all the way up to number 1 in the rankings.
The sauciest of sauce. What's your favorite sauce, Zach? Is there a sauce you like in particular? No?
What we're going to do is we're going to make sure people tune in Friday, and I'll have the answer then.
I like that. Okay, we'll see though. You were supposed to have your popcorn last Friday and you didn't, so I'm going to hold you to that this Friday. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about schools this season. Obviously, Southern California, Texas, Georgia right now. I want to talk about a school in Louisiana though, Steve. Number 20 right now, Catholic. They have won every game by double digits. They have one of the toughest schedules in the country. How good is this team looking right now?
Yeah, they're really looking good. The team from Baton Rouge and in the state of Louisiana, Arch Manning gets a lot of the talk, obviously, number 1 player in the class of 2023. But behind him is Shelton Sampson, Jr., 5-star wide receiver, plays for Catholic. I was watching highlights of his before we came on the show, and he is just an absolute playmaker, 5-star, right, like I said, right below Arch Manning Jr. He's uncommitted right now. The 24/7 Sports Crystal Ball has him landing at LSU. There's a LSU commit, a 2022 that plays for Catholic, Emory Jones, big old offensive lineman, 6'4", 340 pounds. So Catholic is looking good. They're defending state champs, and it looks like they will repeat because they have a squad out in Louisiana.
Before I let you guys go, we got a team making its debut in the top 25 for you guys there at MaxPreps. St. John's out of D.C. Zach, I was reading your article. This is a team with one of the best defenses in the country. What else do we need to know about them?
Yeah, usually I'm not good at math, but through 5 games, they've allowed 13 points. And when I crunched the numbers, that came out to 2.6 points allowed per game. So, this defense smacking folks in the mouth. They haven't allowed more than 7 points in any game this year. And then you flip things over to the offensive side. They got Jamar Curtis, one of the sauciest, most underrated running backs in high school football. This dude's been putting on a show so far during his high school career, and especially so far this year during his senior campaign. But, they ball in the DMV area in the WCAC, one of the toughest conferences in the country. It's time for league play coming up now. So, we're going to see them play the likes of DeMatha, Good Counsel, and Gonzaga here. So if they can run the table and then bring home that WCAC championship, you're going to see the Cadets continue to move up the top 25.
Don't feel bad about the math. My father's a mathematician. I count on my fingers every time. This is what I do. Okay, Zach, I'm holding you to the sauce there on Friday. Steve Montoya, you sound very cool when you say the sauciest team. It is fine. You're doing great there.
I agree. It was good. It was solid. I give him that.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
We'll find his own word. We'll find a special word for Steve. Zack Poff, Steve Montoya, thank you guys so much for going through the latest rankings there from our friends at MaxPreps. Ranking schedules, rosters. You can read it all right there. Make sure to go to MaxPreps. Check it all out.